What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I think I have a new name for this series. Literally, I love making these videos so much and I just hate doing like one a month. And I also have a ton of phones that I could be making this specific series about. So the new name for this series is going to be a Say or Sai, S-A-I, I don't know, whatever you want to pronounce it as. These are going to be different from a Swai. This is so corny, but it's just a way for me to differentiate these. So a Say is a still awesome in, but a Swai is a still worth it in eventually, the last I is silent. But in these type of videos, I'm only going to be talking about the pros from select older phones and older technologies that I personally loved and I've used and I still think are awesome values even today. I used to do these a lot with iPhones, but now I kind of want to do them with Androids as well. So to kind of continue on with this Say journey, I'm going to tell you the Google Pixel, the original one, even the Pixel XL, but I might make a separate video talking about that. But we're going to be talking about the smaller Google Pixel, the 5-inch model. And in my opinion, I think this is an amazing deal. It's a crazy good deal. And it's even more worth it now, in my opinion, than even like early on this year. I mean, it's a crazy good deal. And one of the main reasons why I think this is still an awesome value is because of the software updates. This thing just got Android 10, and even when it's done with Android 10, it's probably still going to get security updates for a while as well from Google. And because this is a phone straight from Google, this was one of the first phones to get Android 10. I mean, the $1,000 Galaxy Note 10 and like all these other phones that came out, they haven't even gotten Android 10 yet because they're not on stock Android. So Samsung has to go make their One UI and all that stuff. But with Google and the Google Pixel, this phone, as the day it's released, is the day this one got it. And this phone was released in 2016, and it's crazy that this one already got that, But that's what you get when you get a Google Pixel. So that is a very, very awesome thing. But another reason why the Google Pixel is still an awesome pickup is because of the custom ROM support. So not only is this thing super easy to root, but it's super easy to install Twerp or Clockwork Mod or whatever different flashing software you want to use. You can flash a custom ROM on it, and the custom ROMs for this thing are crazy. Since this thing has been out for a minute, you have custom ROMs for like every single version of Android since like Android Nougat. So obviously I would recommend the latest and greatest, probably Lineage OS 16 or whatever it is. But this thing, even when it's done with Android 10, there's still going to be a lot of people who own this phone and still want to go and have third-party support, flashing ROMs, and they want capable ROMs. So once Android 11 comes out and Android 12, people are most likely still going to be developing these ROMs for like many, many years to come. You'll probably end up upgrading before this phone stops getting software support from third-party developers. So that's a humongous, humongous thing right there. And if you guys remember with the Nexus line, I've personally owned every single Nexus phone, even all the Google Pixels, I've owned those. But with the Nexus line, and one of the biggest cons of owning those type of phones was the camera. A lot of people didn't like the cameras at all, except maybe with the Nexus 6P, but even that was a little weird. But with the Google Pixel, Google really changed their things up and they changed their whole viewpoint on them. And the Google Pixel, even the original one, still has a very good sensor. Even though it's a single sensor, a lot of people don't like that. But if you look at the Pixel 3 XL, I mean, that camera is probably the best camera out, and that's even a single sensor. So this one is pretty much that same. I mean, they have the same megapixel count, I believe. So of course the Pixel 3 XL's camera is better, but this one is still super capable. The camera on this is still very, very good. And I would say it's even up to par with like an iPhone XS camera or even like a Galaxy S10 camera. Of course, in my opinion, those cameras have more features. The Galaxy S10 one has more features than this one. You can do 4K at 60 frames and all that. But in terms of quality, I still think the Google Pixel, the original one, still has a very, very solid camera. And I think if you were to use this camera, I don't think you would be mad about it. And I think that you would actually be pretty happy with the results. Now, another thing is actually the speed and performance of this phone. Now, this kind of can go with like any phone, really. I mean, it's kind of subjective on what you use your phone with and everything. But since this phone is stock Android, there's not a lot of bloatware on it. So there's not a lot of things running in the background. So ultimately, this phone, even though it doesn't have the fastest processor and the most amount of RAM or whatever, it also doesn't have a lot of those background tasks and apps and all those things running. So it makes this phone feel a little bit more faster than it actually is. And it doesn't have the craziest specs, but interestingly enough, this actually has the same amount of RAM as the Google Pixel 3 XL. So I don't really understand that. I don't know why Google took so long to upgrade the RAM. With the Pixel 4, they're probably going to end up improving it and all of that, but that's a very important thing to note as well. But also to keep in mind is that you can go and flash a custom kernel or custom ROMs or whatever to speed up this phone even more. Now, ROMs don't necessarily speed up your phone, but custom kernels do. So if you're into that realm of custom ROMing and all that stuff, then you'll probably understand what I'm talking about. But if not, even if you kept it stock, it's still a very capable phone in my opinion. Now this next thing, I'm going to just combine a couple things that I like. USB Type-C, this phone still has it. You know, it wasn't the first Nexus to bring that. That was the Nexus 5X and Nexus 6P. But with the Google Pixel, this phone still has it. So you're not going to feel like you're left out or anything. But another thing this phone actually has is the headphone jack. So a lot of people were bashing Samsung for taking it out on the Note 10. But this phone still has it. It came out in 2016, so they didn't remove it yet, which is really, really cool. So if you want to, you can have that capability when you use this phone, so that's awesome. Also, this could be a pro, this could be a con, but in my opinion, I feel like it's a pro. The fingerprint sensor on the back, it is a very, very solid fingerprint sensor, let me tell you. I like fingerprint sensors. I would rather have a fingerprint sensor on the back of the phone than like Face Unlock or Face ID. That's just one of my things. And this phone still has it. Like as soon as you pick your phone out of your pocket and if you rest your finger on the back of the phone like perfectly, it'll basically be unlocked by the time you pick it up, versus on like a Face ID phone, you have to lift it up first, let it unlock, then swipe up, and it's just kind of annoying. But so that kind of covers up everything I wanted to hit on about the Google Pixel. But the biggest thing is the price. You know, as you know, the newest phones are like thousands of dollars or whatever, like around $1,000. You can pick up a Google Pixel in the used market for around $80, you know, give or take maybe like $10, maybe like $90 sometimes. But for the base model, you can pick one up for like $80, which is crazy, crazy good value in my opinion. You can usually get those on eBay, sometimes maybe Craigslist or whatever, but I would highly recommend picking it up. If you're in the market, you know, it's a super, super awesome device and it has a lot of life in it, in my opinion. And it's still a super awesome value, in my opinion. I'll go ahead and find the cheapest one on Amazon and I'll link it down straight in the description below. It might be a little bit more expensive, but usually they're in higher quality and everything. So if you want to help support the channel, you can go purchase things through there. But that is pretty much it. If you guys have any questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, that will mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it'll mean so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel, all those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys could check it out. But more importantly, everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.